Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the LPM Morning Show. It is Wednesday, October 9th, 2024. So glad you guys could join us. Getting together in the mornings is fun. Chat about some collecting stuff, see how everyone's weekend went and how the start of the week's been. There's a lot of stuff going on right now in the world. And I guess first and foremost, I wanted to mention on the show for all of the collectors in Florida and in that region and all of the people who are in all likelihood going to be affected by the Hurricane Milton storm that's supposed to touch down tonight around midnight. Just thinking of all of you guys. I hope that all of you weather the storm and are in a safe place and come out the other end of that. I know that when you live by the ocean, the sheer power of nature is unbelievable, and definitely thinking about you guys. I hope everything goes well there. Good morning, Mike C10. What's going on? Thanks for being in the chat and dropping a comment. Lots of stuff going on. As per usual on the morning show, we're going to go over a couple of people's Instagrams. We're going to talk about some collecting stuff. One of the things I've seen recently is the Joker movie has been released. The Joker #2 movie has been released and has not been received well by people at all. I was reading a little bit about it. I haven't gone to the theater and seen it yet. I'm going to watch that hopefully today. And I would love to hear what you guys think about it, about what the Joker, if you've seen the Joker movie, if you've read any reviews. I liked the first one, and critics were really hard on it. I thought it was really arty. I thought it was really well filmed. I loved the scene of Joaquin Phoenix dancing on the stairs. I felt like that was Joaquin Phoenix unhinged, doing his thing, and I liked that one. So I'm curious to see the second one because when people all hate it as much as they do, I'm definitely interested. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to jump on to some Instagrams to talk about here today. First Instagram on the table is Run It Back Collectibles. I've been on stream with him before on the Spidey Hit Show and am a big fan of this guy's Instagram. Really, really cool. Again, has that common background, everything laid out. Really, really cool. Matt McBrien's jumping on here and joining us. Matt, how you doing? Thanks a lot for joining, buddy. Run It Back is a really cool one. So I'll just show you a couple little clips from it. Just love the way that it's all laid out. Obviously, some really cool Spider-Gwen in there. We've been talking about sketches a lot lately and showing some ComC sketches. Today, I'd like to show one sketch that Run It Back has on his Instagram, which is one by Liddy Lee. I mean, how good does this sketch look? Liddy Lee definitely amazing at doing hair. So women's flowing hair in sketches, she does just a remarkable job. This is without a doubt one of the best Spider-Gwen sketches I've seen. I've been trying to practice a few Spider-Gwen images. It's very challenging for me to draw women. I'm definitely not great at it, and I'm putting a lot of work into getting better at it. And Matt, I totally agree. This is a remarkably good sketch by Liddy Lee. I mean, I've never seen a bad Liddy Lee sketch, so just gonna leave that right there. We got Danny jumping on. How's it going, everyone? Good morning, LPM crew. Love seeing you guys hop on the chat. Thanks so much for joining. We're going over Run It Back Collectibles Instagram right now. I love showing your guys' Instagrams and love seeing all the cool stuff you have, especially the sketches lately. Sketches have been something that I've been paying a lot more attention to. I think that with sketches not being as much of a part of the top sets, that it's kind of a time to celebrate them a little bit and enjoy them as much as possible. There's a ton of them out there right now. And I'm in the process of trying to complete a huge EPAC trade for some sketches. And let's talk about EPAC for a minute, guys. For those of you who don't know what EPAC is, it's Upper Deck's digital service where you can trade and store cards. Some cards are physical items, just like your regular cards that you're used to. Some of them are only digital and combinable for what are called EPAC achievements. EPAC is one of those things where it's not a very sophisticated website. It's not as user friendly as somebody might think. There's definitely a lot of room for improvement. Old school comic cards. Thanks so much for jumping on. How's it going, buddy? But it is something where you can find some really great items. So if you finally figure out how to use the search function on it, which for myself, doing it on an iPad instead of a computer makes it 1,000 times more difficult, but you can start to search ComC and on ePack for cards. If you have to be really specific, so you usually go with set name, and insert name has to be spelled exactly the way it appears on the page. So looking into those, you can find some cool stuff. There's tons of ePack releases, and most products that are, and I do stress most, that are released by Upper Deck are only about 30 to 40% physical boxes that we open. The rest is saved for ePack. So that's to say that there is a ton of product on there if you're in hunting mode for stuff. So I hope that if you are out there looking for special inserts, ePack achievements, things like that, you're looking on ePack before you're looking for them for sale in the Facebook groups and stuff like that. That's a really good tip for anyone who's trying to collect in a certain way. I was going to go back into one of these Instagrams here really quick. Another one I came across is Black Goo Cards, obviously a Venom collector, a Symbiote collector. Really enjoy seeing Symbiote collectors Instas and collections, because when you see all of the symbiotes together, it's just it really is cool. Shout out to my buddy Jeremiah. Jeremiah is the Cletus Cassidy collector and has a lot of really cool items, including Super Nintendo games and things like that. I really love it. One of the items I found on this person's Instagram that I thought was especially cool was a 1994 promo master print of Venom signed by Greg Hildebrand. This is really cool. I hope you guys have seen the Binder Night videos where we've talked about having these promos inside your binder. So these are like the size of a piece of paper, a little bit smaller than a piece of paper, and they're the promos for these sets. And having these, especially one with an auto inside your binder for your set, super cool. Really like it. Yeah, no kidding. That's amazing. That's a really cool item to have. Really enjoy seeing everyone's Instagrams here. Part of the reason I post an Instagram every morning that we do the morning show is to give some inspiration to everybody for what they could do with theirs. How they might see something and be like, that's a great idea. I'm going to do that. On my Instagram yesterday, I should have brought a picture up here, but I didn't. I put up some sketch cards that I've been doing that are in a series of 3 so that they match up on the Instagram. Please check it out, you guys, as I get close to 600 followers. Tier 4 base cards should come down once ePack comes out. Right now, they cost twice what a green emerald does, and that just doesn't make sense. But people want to complete their tiers 4 sets, and I get it. Let's talk about this. Let me just get this off the screen here for you guys. We are all patiently awaiting the MM22 release, and I think something that a lot of people are wondering is what is remaining in MM22 to be pulled. So once it hits ePack, when Marvel Masterpieces hits ePack, what is left to pull? Because we know some of the Red Spectrums have been pulled. I don't think the Red Spectrum Spider-Man Tier 4 card has been pulled yet. So I think that that's one of the major ones that's still in there. I know that the Battle Spectra 1/1 where he's fighting Venom has been pulled, was like one of the first cards pulled actually out of Masterpiece physical boxes. But I agree with Matt that once we see it, and it's most likely going to be like a November, December kind of thing, like it'll probably be the last one. But once that hits, you are going to see the Masterpiece prices come down. If you want an example of what Masterpiece prices are going to look like, look up MM18 and MM20 on ComC and things like that. Go for a look at what the prices are there. You know, the base cards are not expensive. The oranges are not expensive. The tier 4 characters will always be a little bit more expensive, but what Matt's saying there is totally correct, that the prices will come down as the market gets flooded. Because what happens, guys, is people who are really into ePack buy up cases and they rip them and they trade with people to assemble large amounts of cards for achievements. So people want certain achievements, so they do a ton of purchasing and trading in order to get those cards, and then they combine those cards and redeem the achievements. Once the cards are redeemed, you can't use them for an achievement. And people that have them, that have already got their achievement, don't necessarily need 10 base cards of every card that they have. So they flood ComC with them. And when you get that flood of cards coming in, like what you're seeing with Clear Ultra Wolverine right now, is a flood of ComC cards, and the prices have come way down. It's a great time to be gathering up that stuff. Then you start to see just the market go crazy for them because they're so cheap. Look at previous Masterpiece sets if you want some good price points to follow. But Matt, that was a really good point. You are absolutely right that is something that will be happening. One of the EPAC achievements I want to talk about today, which brings us to that topic, is the uncut sheet for Fleer Ultra Wolverine. So the Fleer products have had this before where hang on one second. Matt's got another good point here. Let's talk to Matt for a second. Let's keep the chat involved in this. Right now, like Venom just sold for 600-ish. This will not be after a couple months after EPAC is out. There are 99 of the cards, which is quite a few. So the reason that you're absolutely right, Matt. I agree with you completely. The prices for the cards before they come out on EPAC, I've done this. Other people have done this. Is a matter of just grabbing things up as they appear because people aren't sure if they're going to come up again or if they're going to be, if they don't want to wait. So you're paying a premium at the beginning before an EPAC release to grab up cards because for those who are the seasoned collector, you know that the prices are going to crash. But if you see the cards and you just want to get it out of the way, some people just grab them up. So you're seeing, yeah, Matt, you're guilty of that too, 100%. I think we all are. There's a pretty good rule of thumb where, like, if you see something numbered under 25, such as the emeralds, and you see them, I think if they're important to your collection, you just get them. You know what I mean? You don't really wait for it to come down a few bucks here and there. When you see cards like that, they're worth grabbing up. Matt says, okay, I'm done. That's my 2 cents. You can continue. No, Matt, I really appreciate you bringing up this topic. Somebody had recently posed a question like minutes ago in one of the Facebook groups about what's left in MM22. So that is something I really did want to talk about today. I'm really thrilled you brought it all up. We'll get back to it here though, so anything under 25 is worth picking up when you see it. That's just for someone who doesn't want to live without those items in their collection. I think that's a really good idea. I've missed out on some really good stuff out of 10s by not grabbing it. Most recently, I missed out on an out of 10 a couple months ago that I still think about at night. Super annoying. And I see other people with cards from that set. And I'm like, man, I want that one. It's an old set and it doesn't come up very often. But you will see people grabbing up stuff because they want it, and then you will see people waiting for the prices to come down. It'd be really interesting to see more tier 4 hits come up. I don't know, with the hype around masterpieces and this being the last one, this will be a really interesting one to follow price wise. I'm of the opinion it's going to follow the typical price guide that happens with an EPAC release and all that, but who knows? Time will tell. We'll have to check it out. I'm going to go back to the uncut sheet achievement here from Fleer Ultra Wolverine. I love uncut sheets. Uncut sheets are basically card sheets that they have where for these thick cards, they just haven't laid over the thicker stock and plastered down and cut and all of that. So this is an example of an uncut sheet with the foiling in the background and all the characters. These get framed up and displayed and just look so cool. This was an achievement where for combining, I want to say it was 5 or 10 cards. For an entire base set. So if you had an entire base set and you had 5 or 10 of them, I can't remember. I should have looked it up. But then you get one of these. These sell for about $150 to $200 on the aftermarket. Now that there's been the flood, definitely seeing them all day long at like $180. They're really, really cool. I love uncut sheets. And for a set like me, like one of the things that I used to do and still sort of do when I go really hard on a set, when I put together my base set and some inserts and then I rainbow my character, is to, when I finish it all off, I like to get a sketch from that sketch card stock and maybe even get a couple. If there's some good examples, it's a great way to finish off a set is to grab up some sketch cards and do it. Another great way of finishing off a set that you're really passionate about, with like Fleer Ultra Wolverine for me, is to get an uncut sheet. So let's say you were really into the Avengers, Fleer Ultra Avengers set that came out. It came out a couple years ago, and it was a fun set. It had some strange foiling in the background. But if you were really passionate about that set and you got everything you wanted and then you got some sketches, another great way to kind of top that off would be to grab an uncut sheet. Really cool display item. Really interesting to have in your collection. Personally, I don't have any uncut sheets. So this is my first one. So it's really important to me in my collection. Really quite like them as an insert. Another thing I want to talk about with you guys here is the condition of cards. So we get to see on EPAC photos of cards that people get. I'm going to pick on this one first. So here's a card. This isn't on EPAC. This is a physical card. But the centering on this one is really obviously off a little bit. The jambalayas definitely show condition issues. But you know what? If you want the card, then that's cool. Like I have a jambalaya and it isn't perfectly centered. It's not the best rendition of it, and that doesn't really matter. But it does matter to a degree if you're somebody who's thinking about grading your cards, or if you're trying to have the best example in your collection. You want to be really focused on looking at the condition of cards. I know that some of you guys are already all over this, but when you're looking at stuff, everyone's always trying to do a price comparison and looking at what is the comparable prices. But something you have to factor into that pricing is the condition of the card. So when you look at a jambalaya that's perfectly centered and of a good character and blah, 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 and just looks great and is, for all intents and purposes, perfect, that price is going to fetch a different price than a card that is off-centered or that has a really bad edge or something like that. So I see tons of people, especially newer in the hobby, looking for price comps on Facebook groups. You can post in the MCCW group anonymous for an estimate, but you want to take the condition of those cards into consideration because that's very important when coming to pricing. What else have I got to tell you guys here? I saw an interesting, so there's a morning radio show here that happens every morning on AM radio, actually. As you guys know, I'm currently on the farm right now. And, we got one here. 1994 card expense was $3,000, got 10 different series. Expense, so 5 series of cards. Yeah, there you go. So old school comic cards coming in with some info for us. Good morning, Cindy. I know that Raj is on the road this morning. Those long night drives of going to work or for night shift or whatever are, all you think about when you're a working man like that is it sucks going back to work. Everyone's always excited to go on days off, but going back to work is never fun. Okay, I was saying that there's a radio show in the mornings that I listen to here on AM radio. So I'm currently house sitting a farm right now, as you can see in the background. The barn's right behind me, and I've got morning chores here galore. So this morning I had to let out the chickens. Hey, there he is. We got Claus out collectible. What's going on, buddy? And Donnie boy. So I'm house sitting right now, taking care of all this stuff, and I listen to the radio in the morning, and they do something where they had callers call in, and they were talking about games that they played growing up. And I didn't really care much for the conversation, but it made me think about my show and like something that I wanted to bring up here that relates to our hobby. Something from when I was a kid that I used to thoroughly enjoy playing with was the Creepy Crawler set. So I thought I would just pull it up and show you guys here. But do you guys remember this? This was a really, really cool thing. And of course, there's a Marvel version of it that has Sabretooth on the box. I don't own this, but this might be something I add to my collection one day to play with my kids. But I just thought, here's one with Gambit on it for all you Gambit collectors or Magneto collectors. I thought it was kind of cool to show. Yeah, that was something from my childhood. Creepy Crawlers, man. These were super fun. I remember these being a really popular thing when I was a little kid. Yeah, I remember those. He says. That's awesome. The Truth says I pulled a pack of 94 Marvel Universe Suspended Animation Silver Surfer. I sent it to Beckett and got a 9.5 gem mint. That's awesome. Yeah, that condition you guys are paying attention to definitely pays off if you're in the grading world. I was shocked at how clear it was. Acetate cards, anything like that, are so prone to scratches. That's it's definitely a thing. Yeah. Matt McBrien. So for those of you, if you don't know Matt, I highly recommend you do know Matt because Matt's a really great guy and a really fun, knowledgeable collector. Matt does grading. He sends his cards off to get graded, and he opens a lot of product and is really good at pre-grading stuff. So whenever I look at something, and I do pay attention to the pop count for something, but Matt is also really good at knowing what sets have QC issues because he's opened so much product. And sometimes if I'm ever interested in, say, buying something and I want to know a little bit about it before I open it, Matt's a great guy to talk to about that. Super hard to get those grades on animation cells. Yeah, anything acetate will definitely, yeah. So this is why I brought it up here, Raj. So what I didn't know, they made a Marvel version, and that's 100% right. Those Creepy Crawlers, there were definitely a Marvel version. I thought it was really funny. I was listening to the radio. I was like, man, I would love to show some of the stupid stuff that I played with as a kid that I wish was still around today about Creepy Crawlers, especially with calling up on Halloween here, right? Halloween's coming up, and for me, what a nostalgic Halloween that would be to hang out and do a little Creepy Crawler thing. That'd be a fun video. Maybe one day I'll pick one of those up and I'll do a box opening of that, and we'll have some fun, just nerd out like we did. Anyways, guys, that's what's going on in the collecting world on the LPM channel today. I've got a ton of stuff to do here today. I have slash piles to burn, so I finally got a burn permit issued to me by the fire department, meaning that as long as the wind stays down, I can have a big fire here. Tons of stuff in the yard that needs to get burned. I mean, when you live on a property like this, there is just constantly downed trees, branches, shrubbery, and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm going to spend a lot of my day doing that. I'm house sitting these 2 dogs and the chickens, and the dogs are absolutely ridiculous. They are currently the vein of my existence. They follow me everywhere. They bark at nothing. They drool. I cannot believe how much water these dogs drink. Like, I fill up that gigantic water bowl 3 times a day, and I still feel like I'm behind. I'm going to sell the Silver Surfer on eBay because it's no 10 and only 2 9.5 in pop. Definitely something that drives me crazy about Beckett is the 9.5 thing. I really like Beckett slabs. I think they look awesome. I'm currently enjoying the CGC slabs the most. You guys can let me know in the comments what your favorite slabs are. But the Beckett 9.5 thing and just being so stingy with giving out the 10s, I think that was a mistake on Beckett's end. I don't want to know what you guys think though. Like, I don't want to. That's just my opinion. I got like 2 Beckett slabs in my entire collection, so I don't really know. But the CGC ones, the black labels have really, really grown on me. I enjoy the blue ones, and I wish they had kept those, but there's nothing we can do about that. So I've decided that I think the black looks good. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'm gonna continue on with cleaning up this property, taking care of these animals, and doing what I do out here. And I got my red plaid on, so I'm ready for farm chores. I hope all you guys have a wicked day today. I'm going to catch up with you guys very soon when we do another morning show. I've got a video that's going to release about Eternals. It was an MCU product I opened with Ian Taylor. That video will be dropping here probably tomorrow, and lots of other fun stuff. Make sure you're checking out the shorts. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Thanks a lot for joining, everybody. Have a great day.